In this video, I read even more of my chat's horrible confessions. I went two birds with one stone. Do you mean literally? Is this like literal? I don't know what's wrong with you people. I joke about my audience being full of just the worst. I was usually kidding. And then you guys accidentally prove me right every time I host one of these. No, this is Batman could be breaking every single one of my fingers and he would not get this out of me. This was entirely streamed live on twitch.tv/Kwote, where you could have seen my mental breakdown in live action. I stream there on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so depending on when you're watching this video, I might be streaming tonight. If you like this video, there will be this big card at the end that takes you to the last time we looked at chat confessions. That was also a lot of pain for me. And did you know only like a fifth of you guys are subscribed with notifications on? It really hurts my feelings when you do that. Seriously though, if you consider subscribing and hitting the bell, you never miss another upload. It's free, takes 2 seconds, and you can always change your mind if you decide you hate me later. If not though, enjoy this video. Welcome to the cathedral, my friends, my fellas. Welcome to today's ceremony. We have gathered here today. Quite 7/8 of your audience is in LGBTQ. Why are we in church? Well, I'm glad you asked, because today, we, and I mean you the chat as a conglomerate, are going to be having your darkest secrets revealed. Over the course of this last week, I've asked you all to submit your deepest, darkest confessions through the Google form. I regret it. I always regret it, but I don't know. Like, not to brag, but I'm like way more famous since the last time I did this, and you guys have gotten a hell of a lot wordier. When I was younger, me and my brother had to take turns on the N64, and I never got to complete games like Super Mario 64 or Pokemon Snap because my brother kept deleting my saves. So I hated when he wanted to play because I had to watch him like a hawk to make sure he didn't delete anything. My brother was still young at the time. He was still at the age where he was wetting the bed. So like what, 19, 20? Where he was wetting the bed, and every time he wet the bed, he wasn't allowed to play the N64 for the day. So one morning I had this idea. I waited until my brother woke up and went into the living room to watch TV. And then I went into the kitchen, filled a jug up with water, went into his room, pulled back his bed sheets, and poured the water onto his mattress to make it look like he wet the bed. My brother was punished by not being allowed to play the N64, and I got it all to myself. So whenever I wanted to play it for the day, I made it look like he wet the bed, and there are times where I legit did that every morning for 3 weeks straight. And the worst part is that I legitimately did this for 3 years, even though about a year my brother had stopped actually wetting the bed. I told my mom this story. She had no idea that I was doing this and really thought my brother was still wetting the bed for like 2 years after. Oh my fucking god, man. You did him so goddamn dirty. But holy shit, that is so fucking smart. I think the little brother started it. I think the little brother started it. He shouldn't have been deleting your save files, man. I understand. I let some, like, one of my friends' little snot-nosed brothers borrow a game of mine once, and he deleted a save I had like 100 hours on Pokemon in. Except I couldn't retaliate, because that's not even my little brother. That's just like some little shit who did that to me. This really comes down to bad parenting. It always comes back down to the parents. In 2nd grade, I did a giant MLM scam in our school. Okay, Andrew Tate. I had these stickers that we could redeem rewards for, so I get to thinking, how much candy can I get for this? So I became a suck-up to all the teachers for a few weeks and get a dozen of stickers. I start loaning them out to random kids with a tax of 50%. So after a few more weeks, people start selling me things for stickers, and that becomes a thing as well. Then there starts to be a black market of sorts where people don't have to give me profit for stickers. I did the only logical thing. I bought out the market but didn't tell anyone for more profit. So I start a few fake other markets that make people think they are not giving me stickers. When a few people find out I blacklist them from every market, no adult ever learned I ate well that year. Good God, alpha male, sigma male. You had a monopoly on the school sticker market. You could legit like blackball people from the industry. You would be an incredible CEO. Oh, when I was little, I thought gay people were something made up by the internet. They are. They're not real. All this shit you see on my channel about gay people and gay dating sims, it's fake. It's made up. They're not real. They're boogeymen. They don't exist. Don't believe them. Don't believe what the fucking liberal media tries to tell you. Gay people are not real. Then caught my older brother making out with his boyfriend in his bedroom, and I was horrified because it made me believe that my brother was made by the internet, like an AI or something like Miku. So for the next few days, I cried whenever I saw my brother because I thought he wasn't a real person. As far as like innocence to funny ratio, that's probably the highest one so far. Back in 2016, my family went on a camping trip and we brought my cousin along. It was in this park type thing, but it wasn't altered very much by people, so it was just trees. The only bathrooms were the bushes or the stalls that were far from our spot. I get up in the morning and I have to piss. My parents take me to the stalls because fuck the bushes. There are huge spider webs and those huge ass mosquito eaters. I don't use the bathroom, and instead when we go back to our spot, I take a cup with me into my tent and do my thing in the corner where my cousin sleeps because fuck it. I don't realize how much I had in me, and it spills over on the edge of her pillow and sheets. She doesn't know what happened. Let me tell you guys a very, very important lesson for the sake of peeing in water bottles. I tried it once in my life because I was really curious if I could like fill it up. Your pee your standard pee, if you saved it up, will always overflow out of the bottle. Your typical pee will be more than a water bottle. I know it seems like less, you're used to peeing in a toilet bowl, but the fact that it's bowl-shaped and has water in it to dilute it is like going to trick you and change your expectations. I learned this very young. I think I was 13 when I peed in a bottle. I did it once, got a little on my fingers, and I was like, and I never wanted to do it again. I learned the hard way, and I never did it again. The lesson stuck, didn't it? I learned from my mistakes, and I'm telling you, so you don't have to learn from them. I gave myself carpal tunnel syndrome caused by playing Friday Night Funkin' every day, multiple hours a day for over a year. Oh my god, this is literally me. This guy's just like me for real. I just wanted to get out my own self-plight because there was ample opportunity here. Most sane Genshin player, real. I will literally never like Genshin Impact. I'm not gonna lie, I might do it a one-off for a stream just so I can, because you guys enjoy me in pain for some reason. When I was around 5 years old, I had a rather large plastic bin for toys. One day, and my cousin came over and I ended up putting the bin in on top of her and sitting on the bin, and she passed out. I thought she died and dragged her outside and left her close to the woods. You know, whenever I feel judged by chat, or like whenever chat makes me feel like even a little bad about something, I just have to remember these streams. I just have to remember that you fuckers are in here. And I'm like, these are the people who are talking down to me. It makes my life a little better. I have 2 confessions, actually. I will say prepare yourselves because it's kind of crazy. There's a high bar for crazy in this chat. I was about 3 or 4 at the time, maybe 5. But at this time, I had anger issues. And I mean very bad anger issues. So this day, we were on the playground and I was talking to my friend. I'm just sitting there eating my animal crackers and this kid comes over and starts messing with me and my friend. My 3, 4, or 5-year-old self got pissed, so I had this jacket with a metal zipper and I was thinking about what weapon to use, and that's when the jacket came in mind. I took off the jacket and hit the kid as hard as I could with the zipper, and then his head started to bleed and he started crying. That's when I ran into this tunnel and hoped they wouldn't find me. Spoiler alert, they did. I'm panicking because I'm getting spanked at this age with a belt. I don't know if the lady has dementia, but she forgot to tell my dad, so I got lucky. I haven't told my parents today. That's really tame for this. That's really tame for my chat. I once killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Do you mean literally? Animal murder is also not new for this stream. Remember the cat in the microwave? So my nana lives in the woods, so there's a lot of wildlife there. One day I was doing what any normal kid would do, throwing rocks to see how high they'd reach. So I throw this rock and it goes pretty high, but the next thing I know I hear 2 loud squawks and then 2 birds fall to the ground. Fucking collateral, dude. Good shit. Guilty. I don't know why, but I panic, so I take the birds and feed them to my nana's dog. Oh my god. That's the fucked up part. Kids throw rocks. They're idiots. They throw rocks at water, they throw them in the air, they throw them at each other, because they don't understand what they do. You hit a bird. It happens. Then you fed them, you picked them up and fed them to the dog. Oh, I'm in pain. I'm in severe pain at all hours of the day. The first time I had sex, we were both high, but I was starting to sober up. My boyfriend at the time, on the other hand, was tripping badly. He was in the middle of going down on me when he came up all sweaty and dizzy and was like, I think I'm about to throw up. So we both laid naked and he started hallucinating and describing to me the weird shit that he was seeing, like floating insects that looked like bubbles. He also said my face looked like I had a funny Snapchat filter on. But he had no perception of time, so if I stopped talking for 5 seconds, he thought I hadn't talked for hours and he thought I was dead. It was a weird way to lose my virginity, but I still remember it and laugh. I mean, as long as it's not a particularly bad memory for either of you. My freshman year of high school, me and my friends would cover one specific window in milk every morning. Janitors cleaned it. We decided that it was a direct attack and started covering multiple windows in milk. That's the whole confession. That's funny. That's funny. I could use like a cigarette right about now, you know? Like just like I could one pull a cigarette right now. Just like much better. Shit's so bad, I need a ciggy. I have been sincerely lusting over Futanari girls, and well, it has taken my life to the point I want one. I need one, oh father, what shall I do? I don't know, cry? I was that kind of edgy, mentally ill middle schooler who thought it was cool to plan how to run away and murder people. I thought it was so badass, I also roleplayed as creepypasta characters with my friends who thought it was cool to try to run away to murder people. I also thought it was cool to be a psychopath and tried to fake the test results when I got examined for mental issues. That I was just diagnosed with ADHD and depression. Bro, you tried to get the fucking cool disease and you're like, man, no, I'm just sad and like neurodivergent. Oh, you got a fucking dude. You got shafted so hard. Hell of a reality check. Thankfully, the ADHD means I have a fucked memory and don't have to voluntarily remember shit like this. God, your 11-year-old you had a rude awakening. Like, you're not a psychopath. You're just like depressed. It might be a good preventative measure to just down a White Claw right now. Like, I'm a decent way into this. Like, just as, like, you know, I'm self-medicating. It might just be like a good coping mechanism. Yep, it's going down. Not chugging, but a big good sip. Found my brother watching me at the strip club. When I was 20, I dropped out of university because I wasn't happy with what I was doing, engineering. I don't know why, but like I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And then you put engineering, like it'll just make us immediately understand. Oh yeah, I get that. I moved back in with my parents, who were understandably upset at me for giving up on my future, and my brother was also living there because he never went to uni in the first place. He was always out of the house and never told us where he was going. About 4 months in, I decided to get a job. I keep seeing TikToks about strippers getting hella cash. I'm gonna be honest, I was really invested. We live in a small city, so there were still other jobs I could have gotten, but you needed experience. I was super frustrated and desperate, so I went with the stripper job without telling my parents. The next 2 to 3 months, nothing really happened, and I made good money. One night, I was exhausted. I was ready to leave, but kept the show going just for extra money. That's when I noticed faces from the back. It was normally dim in the club, so I wasn't usually able to see most people, but sometimes the strobe lights would go wild. Basically, I saw my brother and his friends straight up watching and grinning at me from the corner of the club while drinking, and I almost felt like vomiting. I ran to the back as soon as I saw him, and I don't even know how long it had been until I just decided to leave. Never confronted him about it, nor have I told my parents this all happened 1 year ago. Holy God. Do you think that that could have been a one-off, like, poor timing thing? Like, it's like, oh fuck, I didn't know my sister worked here. I hope that was just an awful coincidence. One time when I was a lot younger, about 9 or 8, me and my twin were at my mom's house playing games and chilling. My brother farts and shits himself, diarrhea, and has to shower and get taken to the bathroom to clean up his shitty ass. Shitty ass. And then my mom comes back and she's like, don't fart. The next second I have to fart, and I'm contemplating doing it, but ended up just doing it, and I shit myself. But this isn't even the worst part. When I was shitting in the toilet, I got my diarrhea on a roommate's carpet. It was under the toilet, and I left it there. My diarrhea on a random person's carpet. Anyways, why did she say don't fart as if she knew that she was also gonna shit her pants? Did their mom give them some food poisoning? Whatever you do, keep it in. Keep it in. Don't you even think about it. So there was this like person who tried to convince me and my friend into hating each other because they didn't like that my friend had other friends other than them. And after we confronted them with a 3-page essay on why they sucked and evidence of the lying and attempted gaslighting, we were still not satisfied. After that, my friend realized that the person didn't change their Genshin Impact login. They had been saving up the in-game currency for months. We logged into their account and used all of the currency and got rid of all of their really good in-game items. Your friend played Genshin Impact 2? Bad news. Cut him off. You are an unreliable narrator. You are an unreliable narrator. You cannot be trusted. My memory is vague on how it happened, but I remember I was either 5 or 6, and my sister, who I'm going to call Ella, challenged me on who could jump on our TV the most. After like 3 and 4 tries, and it was my turn, I jumped on our TV, and the TV fell on my leg. After that, I had to go to the hospital and get a cast. A few months when the cast got removed, I got back home. I kicked then beat up Ella because when I had the cast, she would always make fun of me. This is why she hates me. She never realized that the reason I did that was because she proposed the idea with the TV in the first place. Now, whenever she asks to do something with me, which is rare, I always decline. What made you want to do that as like a jumping block thing? Like, what brought up this idea? I almost drowned my brother when he's a baby. We went swimming and he had a baby float vest on, so I thought he'd be safe in the water on his own, and I put him in the water and swam off. And a minute later, I swam back and the floaters were working, but only for his legs! So his head and upper body were underwater, and because he is autistic, he didn't know he's supposed to set himself upright. He is fine now and loves to swim, but he hates getting his hair wet. Terrified to go swimming with my older brother, who is even more autistic than the first one. Feel like I'm the worst sister alive. I'm just for this, but for other things too. It's not even it's just the imagery of like a child like floating in the water from like by their legs. Like you just see their feet sticking up and they're just bobbing along casually. Yeah, that's right. Why would you have leg floaters? I've never like seen leg floaters be a thing unless you like also have them like on your shoulders or some shit. I've watched your streams while driving home more than once. Had my phone mounted so I can glance over and watch while watching traffic. Listen, if you're gonna have my streams on while you drive, please just treat it like a podcast, okay? Listen, if you absolutely gotta do that, just treat it like a podcast, please. Mom said that if anything went up my ass, I would die, and I tried it, and I used my mom's toothbrush because I had an electric one. After I did, I was happy I didn't die. I decided it wasn't for me. She said the toothbrush smelled bad and she let me smell it. I said I didn't smell anything and she used that toothbrush for the rest of the year. Oh, that's what she gets to lying to you, man. Like, if you put anything up your ass, you will die. I wonder if that's true. Puts thing up my ass? Like, Jesus Christ. That's on her for telling the kid he'd die if he tried. He wouldn't have even thought about putting it up his ass if she had just kept her mouth shut. This is a strange one. I was watching this thing called Cosplay Chess. Before the game started, there were 2 announcers calling up people to get onto the parts of the board. There were some cool things that looked neat and all that. What'd you expect from watching? After 10 minutes, more people getting onto the board. Someone with an Inuyasha cosplay rolled onto the board in a wheelchair, which I wasn't expecting at all. And I'll be completely honest here, I let out one of the longest fucking loudest laughs I ever did in a while. I have not been able to forgive myself for actually laughing at a paraplegic since that day, but honestly, this is probably pretty tame compared to almost every other confession. Yeah, I have like a dumbass toddler confession I can make that relates to this. I don't think it's as bad as this, because I'm pretty sure you were way older than me when this happened. Like I'll say it like this. When I was like 5 or 6, I did not know what Tourette's was. So somebody who had Tourette's, like, I think they like worked at Target, and I was sitting in the little shopping cart. They made like it, you know, they had an involuntary tick where they like yelled, and it hurt my ears, and I was like, ow, stop it. And they're like, I can't. And apparently I told him, yes, you can, which is, not great. Not great to say to someone with Tourette's. Really fucked up, and I felt bad about it ever since. I made out with a bitch. You're the stereotype of every VTube viewer on Earth, dude. I literally fell in love with a VTuber model. I don't care if this isn't a sin. It feels off to keep it to myself. No, this is Batman could be breaking every single one of my fingers and he would not get this out of me. The fact that I fell in love with it was some weird Shiba thingy just makes me feel off. God. My boyfriend broke up with me through a note that he didn't give me, so I hacked into his Snap account and broke up with who he was cheating on me with. Then again, he did say that he wanted me to be the dream to his George, so it was definitely deserved. That man's a whore. He knows who fucking Dream and George are. He knows what Dream Not Found is. He's been around the block. Like, that motherfucker's been passed around. Guaranteed. There's no fucking way he knows what that is on his own time. There's no fucking way. Read and enjoyed a Donald Trump X-Reader fanfic graphic smut. Why couldn't you have just capped it there? You didn't have to go into detail. Okay, I think these are personally drying up. And we have been going for some time now. I think we've streamed for a substantial amount of time, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do an outro. Guys, did you know if you watched this on YouTube, you missed out on, honestly, just having your soul crushed live? We could have used your emotional support here. The more people there are, the easier it is to get through this. I'm not even kidding. Twitch.tv/Kwote, we'd love to have you. God. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, baby.